I'm 76 years old, and last Tuesday, I watched my neighbor Harold water his perfect lawn for the last time. He didn't know it would be the last time, neither did I. But as I watched him adjust that sprinkler with the same precision he'd used for 30 years, something clicked in my mind about why most of us, myself included, spend decades feeling hollow inside.
You see, Harold died that night. Heart attack in his sleep. His lawn is still perfect today, 2 weeks later. But Harold is gone. I've been thinking about emptiness a lot since then, not death. I've seen plenty of that at my age. But emptiness. That peculiar human condition where you can have everything society says you should want and still feel like you're living someone else's life. My name is William, though most people called me Bill during my 42 years as an engineer. I designed bridges. Beautiful ones, some people said. I have 3 grown children who visit on holidays, 7 grandchildren who mostly know me through FaceTime, and a house that's worth 20 times what I paid for it in 1978. By every measure our culture uses, I succeeded. And for most of my life, I felt profoundly empty. I'm not talking about depression, though I've known that too. I'm talking about that persistent sense that you're performing in a play you never auditioned for. That feeling when you wake at 3 a.m. and wonder if this is all there is. That moment when someone asks what you want, really want, and you realize you have no idea. The turning point came when I was 71. I was sitting in my doctor's office, and she asked me a simple question. "What brings you joy, Bill?" I opened my mouth to answer, then closed it, opened it again. Nothing came out. "Golf?" she suggested helpfully. I shook my head. I played golf because men my age played golf. Your grandchildren? I love them, of course. But joy? When did I last feel joy with them instead of obligation? Travel? My wife and I had seen Europe, Asia, parts of Africa. We had the photos to prove it. But joy? Or just checking boxes on a list someone else had written? Dr. Martinez, that was her name, waited patiently while I sat there, a 71-year-old man who'd built things that would outlast him by centuries, unable to name a single source of genuine joy in his life. Here's what I understand now that I didn't then. We've been sold a story about what fills a life, and most of us never question it. We're told it's achievement, accumulation, advancement. We're told it's leaving a legacy, making our mark, being remembered. It's all backwards. Every culture has its own version of this lie, but in mine, American, middle class, 20th century, it went like this. Work hard, climb the ladder, accumulate wealth, raise successful children, retire comfortably, leave something behind. Follow this formula and you'll feel fulfilled. I followed it to the letter. So did Harold with his perfect lawn. So do most people I know. And we wonder why we feel empty. The truth is simpler and more difficult. A life feels full when you're present in it, when you're connected to it, when you're honest about what you actually want versus what you think you should want. But we're terrified of that simplicity. So we complicate everything. I spent 30 years in a marriage that looked perfect from the outside. Helen and I never fought in public. We raised 3 children who went to good schools and got good jobs. We hosted dinner parties where everyone commented on what a wonderful couple we were. Behind closed doors, we were 2 polite strangers who'd forgotten why we'd chosen each other. We stayed together for the children, then for appearances, then out of habit. When she finally asked for a divorce when I was 68, my primary feeling was relief. We'd wasted 4 decades performing marriage instead of living it. My son Thomas called me last month. He's 49 now, runs a successful marketing firm in Seattle. He wanted advice about a job offer, more money, more prestige, more pressure. As he talked, I heard my own voice from 30 years ago. The same calculations, the same assumptions about what mattered. "What do you actually want to do?" I asked him. Long pause. "I don't know, Dad. I really don't know." The apple doesn't fall far from the empty tree. Here's what nobody tells you about success as we define it. It's perfectly designed to keep you from asking the questions that matter. When you're busy climbing, you don't have time to wonder why you're climbing, or whether you even like the view. When you're focused on accumulating, you don't notice that nothing you accumulate actually fills the emptiness. I have a friend named Carl who spent his whole career in insurance. Good man, honest as they come. Last year, his grandson asked him what he did for work, and Carl tried to explain insurance. The boy listened politely, then asked, "But what do you do?" Carl called me that night, shaken. I couldn't answer him, Bill. I've spent 40 years doing something I can't even explain to a 7-year-old in a way that makes sense. That's most of us. We spend decades in jobs that would evaporate tomorrow, and the world would barely notice. We tell ourselves we're providing for our families, building security, being responsible. All true, all necessary, but not sufficient for a life that feels full. I'm not naive. Bills must be paid. Children must be fed. But somewhere between survival and what we call success, we lost the plot. We forgot that work was supposed to be a means to live, not living itself. My daughter Sarah understands this better than I ever did. She's a teacher, makes a third of what her brothers make. Last Christmas, she was telling stories about her students, eyes shining, hands gesturing wildly. Her brothers were checking their phones. "Don't you want more?" Helen asked her once, back when we were still married and thought we knew what more meant. "More what?" Sarah had replied. We didn't have an answer. I think about my father now more than I did when he was alive. He worked in a factory for 43 years, same shift, same lunch pail. I was ashamed of him when I was young. His simple life, his simple pleasures. He liked to sit on the porch after dinner and watch the birds. Just sit and watch. "Don't you want to do something?" I'd ask him. "I am doing something," he'd say. I thought he was wasting his life. Now I wonder if he was the only one in our family who knew how to live it. The emptiness most of us feel isn't from lack of achievement or possessions or even relationships. It's from lack of presence. We're so busy preparing for life, planning for life, positioning for life, that we forget to live it. I learned this too late. At 76, I'm finally learning to sit on my porch and watch the birds. But I can't shake the feeling that I'm trying to cram a lifetime of presence into whatever years I have left. My neighbor Margaret is 84. She's lived alone since her husband died 15 years ago. By most measures, she has very little. Small pension, older car, modest house. But Margaret seems to glow from within in a way I've rarely seen. I asked her once what her secret was. "Secret to what?" she said. "To seeming so full." She thought about it. "I decided a long time ago to stop living for later," she said finally. "Most people are saving up their lives like frequent flyer miles. They're going to cash them in someday for something wonderful. But life isn't miles, it's moments. You can't save them, you can only spend them." She was right, of course, but knowing and living are different things. Here's what I'd tell my younger self if such things were possible. That promotion you're killing yourself for, you'll get it, and feel empty. That house you think will make you feel established, you'll buy it and feel empty. That recognition you crave, it'll come and feel empty. Because emptiness isn't about what you don't have, it's about disconnection from what you do have, from who you are, from the life you're actually living while you're busy planning the life you think you should want. I met a man at cardiac rehab, that's a story for another day, who told me he'd had the same realization during his heart attack. "I was lying there thinking I was dying," he said, "and all I could think about was how I'd spent 50 years preparing to live." That haunts me. Preparing to live. We do it with everything. We endure jobs to pay for retirement. We sacrifice presents for the promise of future security. We postpone joy until conditions are perfect. We're always preparing to live. My granddaughter Emma is 7. Last week she showed me a picture she'd drawn. Wild colors, no recognizable forms, pure expression. "What is it?" I asked. "It's the feeling of Tuesday," she said, like that made perfect sense. When did I stop feeling Tuesday? When did Tuesday become just the day between Monday and Wednesday, a square on the calendar to get through? I know exactly when. It was when I started living for later. The cruel irony is that when later finally comes, retirement, empty nest, whatever milestone we've been living for, we don't know how to stop preparing and start living. We've practiced postponement so long it's all we know. I see it in my retired friends. They worked their whole lives for this freedom, and now they don't know what to do with it. So they schedule their retirement like a job: golf on Tuesday, lunch club on Wednesday, volunteer committee on Thursday, still performing, still empty. My brother James died at 58, massive stroke at his desk, working late again. At his funeral, his boss spoke about what a dedicated employee he was. His wife cried. His children looked lost. And I thought, is this what we're supposed to want? To be remembered as a dedicated employee? James had plans. When the kids graduated, when he made partner, when the mortgage was paid, when. He died in the middle of a sentence he never got to finish. That's most of us. Dying in the middle of sentences about what we'll do when. But here's what breaks my heart. It doesn't have to be this way. The fullness we're seeking isn't in some future achievement or acquisition. It's available right now, in this moment, if we'd only stop long enough to feel it. I felt it yesterday briefly. I was making coffee, same ritual I've done for 50 years, and for just a moment, I was completely there. The sound of water heating, the smell of grounds, the weight of the cup in my hand. No past, no future, no story about what this meant or where it was leading. Just coffee, just morning, just life. It lasted maybe 10 seconds, but in those 10 seconds, I felt more alive than in the previous 10 years. That's the secret nobody tells you. Life isn't the big moments. It's not the promotions or the acquisitions or the milestones. Life is Tuesday morning coffee. Life is the sound your key makes in the lock when you come home. Life is now, always now, only now. But we're so afraid of now, because now is uncertain, now is imperfect, now doesn't match the image in our heads of how life should be. So we live in the past or the future, anywhere but here. A young man asked me recently what I regret most. I think he expected me to say something dramatic, a missed opportunity, a failed relationship, a wrong turn. But my deepest regret is simpler. I regret every moment I wasn't present for my own life. I regret the birthday parties where I was thinking about work, the family dinners where I was planning tomorrow, the conversations where I was waiting for my turn to speak instead of listening, the sunsets I didn't see because I was reading the news, the 1,000 tiny moments I traded for an emptiness I called productivity. You want to know why most lives feel empty? Because we're not in them. We're hovering above them, planning and worrying and managing, but we're not in them. We've turned existence into a project to be optimized instead of an experience to be lived. So here's my question for you, the uncomfortable one I promised. When was the last time you were completely present? Not thinking about later, not rehashing earlier, not comparing this moment to some ideal moment that exists only in your head. Just here, just now. If you can't remember, you're living the same empty life I lived for 7 decades. And here's the harder question, what are you going to do about it? Because I can tell you from the perspective of 76 years, time accelerates. That someday you're living for? It's not coming. There is only a series of todays, and you're either present for them or you're not. Harold's lawn is still perfect. The new owners will probably keep it that way. But Harold spent his last day the way he spent all his days, maintaining an image, postponing presence, preparing for a later that he didn't live to see. Don't be Harold. Don't be me at 50, 60, even 70. Don't wait for your life to begin when conditions are perfect. Your life is happening now, in this imperfect moment, in this imperfect body, in this imperfect world. The emptiness you feel isn't because something is missing. It's because you are missing from your own life.
I have maybe 5 years left, maybe 10 if I'm lucky. Not enough time to make up for 7 decades of absence, but enough time to be present for what remains. That's all any of us can do, really. Start where we are. Start now. Stop preparing to live. Start living. Stop waiting for fullness. Start feeling what's already here. Stop performing life. Start experiencing it. If this resonates with you, if you felt something shift while reading this, don't just file it away as interesting. Do something about it. Put down your phone. Look around. Feel Tuesday. Be here. Your life is waiting for you to show up for it. Don't make it wait 76 years as I did.